Hi everybody. With Steph, Dre, Andre, and Otto all taking the night off, Jordan Poole had a responsibility to do a bit of carrying in the scoring department, and it was good for him to get a chance to shoot through his mistakes and try to get into some kind of good rhythm for the season. So we're going to have a look at highlights of Jordan Poole's scoring against the Pistons. This is a simple two-man game. We have Jordan Poole, we have Juan Toscano-Anderson. They've definitely developed some kind of chemistry so they can improvise pretty well together. This play is pretty simple. It's just going to be Juan doing a handoff to Jordan Poole, and then Juan is going to just wander in between Jordan Poole and Cunningham, who's going to find himself being too polite to ask Juan to move out of the way. See? Excuse me, sir. I do say, please, let me through. Jordan Poole takes advantage of the space. A couple plays later, it looks like it's just going to be another handoff to Jordan Poole, but surprise, it's a fake handoff. And then it looks like it's going to be Looney setting a screen or some kind of handoff to Looney. So some kind of action on this side of the court. Looney stepping up, but then Juan suddenly does a U-turn. He says, you know, I miss you, buddy. Let's do another two-man game. And it's another handoff. And then Juan sets a screen on Jordan Poole's man. Just enough in the way to stop Cade Cunningham from going through. This defender is reacting too late to switch onto Poole or to contest. And I admit this is a pretty deep three. His foot is on the logo, but you know, if you make these, then you don't apologize. This is another simple play. Looney comes over to set a screen for Jordan Poole. The natural way to take the screen is to drive this way to run Cade Cunningham into the screen. The big is looking prepared to confront Jordan Poole on the other side of this. He's definitely positioned on this side of the screen, but that's left this long runway right down the diagonal. One thing Poole does that is nice is he does a good job with little ball fakes. So he's trying to sell that he's going in this direction, and so he's going to show the ball in this direction, and that's going to be enough to make the big man commit, saying, all right, this is really happening, it's go time. Little shake, and the big tries to jump and beat the traffic, but the traffic is not going in that direction any longer. Poole rejects the screen. It takes Cunningham by surprise, and he's caught a teeny bit flat-footed. Poole gets half a step on him. This looks like this could be an even race, but Poole is a little faster than Cunningham. Poole slowed down just a little bit to get bumped by Cunningham, which gave him a little bit of separation to lean forward and make the layup. That was a really fluent play, and to be honest, I really like to see Poole attacking the basket. I think he's got a talent for driving and hitting these gaps, and he's such a sneaky and creative finisher around the rim, and I think that that's a part of the game that won't go away the same way that his three-pointer has just been coming and going. So it's nice to see him not just hoisting up threes. This is one of the Warriors' horn sets. Horns means corners, elbows, top. And in this play, one elbow sets cross screen for the other, who steps out and gets the pass. And the vanilla variation is that whoever set this cross screen just turns around and gives an instant screen for a pick and roll. So Kuminga steps up. He's setting himself on this side. This defender looks like he's leaning a bit in anticipation that Poole will take the screen and that he's going to have to chase Poole around. In fact, he's pretty committed to this theory, so much that he just steps over here in advance, even though the defender hasn't really been run into the screen. So Poole says, fine, you want to be that way. The big man already vacated this contained position, and this defender is hanging out with 0-0, so Poole's just going to try to beat everyone with raw speed. Number 18, Corey Joseph, did a good job of beating Poole to the spot there, so that saved an easy layup. But unfortunately, he beat him to the spot, but then he and Poole ran into each other, and Poole let himself be bounced out to the three-point line. And Poole says, thank you for the space. Thank you for the three as well. This is a simple give and go. Poole hits Looney with the pass, comes back and gets an instant handoff back. Killian Hayes looks like he's going to have trouble negotiating the screen. The big does step up to try to help, but he's positioned oddly to the side of the screen. The screen is over here, and he's positioned as if he's already running this direction, so Poole will naturally want to attack in that direction. So he says, thank you. Isaiah Stewart is a pretty nimble big, so he does try to just contain the drive. And things look under control. Stewart is here. Poole is doing a little hesitation move here. GP2 is cutting baseline, which is forcing this defender to rotate, and this defender chooses to path right in the way of Isaiah Stewart, which is essentially serving as a friendly fire screen for Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole sees that and with a little burst of speed leans forward for the layup, and Stewart cannot catch up. He is so tricky around the basket. Poole ends up with another ISO on Isaiah Stewart and says, I'm just going to go to work on the big tugboat. In theory, Detroit does have this under control. They've got every single person with a foot right next to the lane. So in theory, if Poole beats Isaiah Stewart this way, there's at least 2 natural players to rotate to him. So I don't know if Poole was trying to lob it to Looney or throw it to Juan Toscano-Anderson in the corner, but instead he ends up throwing it somewhere into the stands over here. Juan does not give up on this. Juan is going to launch himself into the air, catch this ball, and just fling it blind over his own head. He knows Wiggins is around here, but I don't know. It feels like if the Pistons catch this, it's going to be an automatic basket at the other end. So I don't know, but it's a really cool play. So I'm glad he tried it. He's catching the ball now for the fling. It goes right to Wiggins. I mean, that just couldn't have gone any better. In the meantime, while everyone is watching this wondrous hustle play happening, Jordan Poole just says, all right, I'm just not here. You all take care of yourselves and don't worry about me, Detroit defense. I'm going to wander over to the arc. Looney alertly decides, okay, I'm going to set this pin-in screen on whoever decides to come defend Jordan Poole back here, but I'm going to do it really quietly so no one notices. So the ball is in the air, so now people are definitely noticing. Poole's defender says, yo, that's my man. What's he doing all the way over there? He's trying to get there. But Looney has already positioned himself to screen him off, and Poole will have a lot of time to get this shot off. Kabang. Poole is going to just try to ISO Corey Joseph straight up. So that means Andrew Wiggins wants to clear out this whole side. So he's taking off, and he's hoping to bring his defender with him. Now Poole decides to blow by with raw speed. Bang. Bye-bye. Jerami Grant does see what's happening, so he does stick around to rotate to try to stop Poole's drive. And Poole says, I got an answer for you. It's called the wild scooping layup. I told you he was crafty around the basket with his finishes. This is a simple play done well. Juan Toscano-Anderson handing off to Jordan Poole, who's going to loop around and attack with some momentum. And the hope is that Jordan Poole's defender will have trouble negotiating the screen, like he'll have to take a long route around, or maybe he'll decide to go under, or he might get lost around the way and then have to use Google Maps. So all kinds of things can happen when you set this simple handoff screen. But in this case, bam! The defender runs full speed into this screen, and Juan Toscano-Anderson stays solid, and it almost knocks him to the ground. He did a good job staying on his feet. Poole is turning the corner now. So even though Poole took a pretty wide turn, Corey Joseph got slowed down long enough that Poole now can just accelerate by him. This forces Isaiah Stewart to rotate to help, which in theory means that Kevon Looney can spring free. Poole's just going so fast though, and Stewart hasn't gone far enough in the lane. He's left this little seam that Jordan Poole can attack. Not easy though, because Stewart is very large and very talented at shot blocking. But look at this finish. I mean, a double clutch, soaring half hook bank shot, high off the glass. That is really high degree of difficulty. This is another simple maneuver. Kevon Looney looks like he's going to give a simple handoff to Jordan Poole. Killian Hayes feels clever, and he's going to try to play to stop the easy handoff. Killian Hayes flung himself too far in this direction, so Looney and Poole were on the same page, and Poole just cuts back door, and Looney hits him with a simple pass, and then Poole shows off his hops. Another simple play here. Looney's just going to run and set a screen for Poole. Because he's traveling a long distance, his man will have to follow behind, which will make him a little bit late to get to this play. In the meantime, Gary Payton II is showing off his organizational skills. He's waving everyone in this direction. And so I believe he's signaling that Wiggins should move down to the corner. GP2 should move to the wing, so it's more like they're located in these positions so that there can be lots of space for this high wing pick and roll to unfold. Okay, there's Looney. He stops just in time before getting a moving screen. The big defender is a little bit late to the play, which means that when Looney wipes out Cade Cunningham on this screen, Jordan Poole can really force the switch. There he is. Cade does try to recover, but it's too late. This man is not only covering Poole, but he's in the way of Cade, so that if Poole drives this way, it's going to be another friendly fire screen. So there he goes. Hesitation. Raw speed, trying to just zip by Jerami Grant, leans forward with the finish to try to put it right on the glass so he can't block it. Right off the glass, and he does block it, but that's a goaltending because once the ball hits the backboard, you're not allowed to block the shot. The next play down, the Warriors attack fast, and so Cunningham is matched up with, depending on how you count, either GP2 or Looney, and it's Jerami Grant again that's matched up from the start with Poole. So Poole comes and gets the ball because he's very eager to have this matchup, and he has it. Hesitation and then explosive start, that quick first step. This guy's having trouble keeping up. Poole is definitely going to get by him. Cunningham is trying to rotate to stop him. This defender could also rotate, but he might not want to leave Andrew Wiggins. So Poole just runs by everybody, going for the finish. You may remember that last time Poole finished, he ended up banking it on the left side of the basket, and shot blocker went up and pretty close to a block, but it was a goaltend. So Poole says, nuh-uh, I'm going to do something different this time. And he does this really delightful move where he starts off with a left-hand layup. You see that he starts up looking like he's going to put up with his left hand and put it up on this side. Cade Cunningham is soaring by, and he's got his arm ready to block this side of the backboard, and then Poole takes it from his left hand, switches the ball to his right hand, and all in the air finishes with the bank shot from the right side of the basket. That is just gorgeous. And the bench loved it. And I know it's going to look like a kind of goofy sidestep that Draymond's doing, and that Otto Porter Jr. in the background is doing some kind of wacky thing with his arms. But in all seriousness, the Warriors have this culture which, if it wasn't started by Steph, it's definitely something he delighted in, and so that locks it into the culture. And that's when someone does a really cool move like that, you actually imitate it to show people that you appreciated what they did. Definitely they want to show by imitating it that they noticed that Poole switched hands on the layup. So Draymond's thing is subtle. He's got the hands sort of like, yeah, I switched from this hand to this hand, this hand to this hand, and then he's turned it into this kind of old man shuffle, which I appreciate. And in the background, you can see Otto Porter doing a much better job of imitating what happened. You see, he's like saying, look, I took the ball over here on the left side, and then I swung it over here to the right side. Yeah, you see? And Porter, I like this, the style points. Like, he not only imitated better with the whole cradling it this way and then cradling that way, but then he got it, his arms over his head so he can give himself a pat on the head. It just looks really cool. Moody kind of, I don't know what he's doing here. So my final grades, I'm going to call this Moody non-dance D tier. Thank you for playing. Draymond's weird old man shakes dance is C tier, but he's so committed to it that it makes it B tier. Otto Porter's side to side, I appreciate you switch hands dance with the circular sun salutation thing going, I'm putting in the A tier.